Ashlee Evans-Smith was with us today. She doesn't fight until September 9th, but I want to do an early one with her to kind of get her mindset. If you're new to the sport, it seems like she's been around for a long time, but she's only had 7 professional fights at 5-2. She's fighting Sarah Moras at 4-2, so obviously the records are evenly matched. But I really actually feel like you've been around for a lot longer than just 7 fights. I feel like you've been, at least on my radar, for a long time now. I will admit that I do watch all the fights. I am interested in everything that's going on in every organization, so I probably caught you a lot earlier than most. But I'll talk to a lot of other people too, and when I ask them, hey, what's her record? What do you think her record is? And they're literally giving you like 15, 16 fights, like double the fights, because they feel like you've been around for so long. Mm-hmm. Do you get that sense from other people too? Is that just something that I'm seeing?
Well, no. I mean, I unfortunately have had a couple things happen in my career where I either fought once a year or, like the example was a fight got postponed for like 5 months because of like I don't know what you call that, but some rules in Miami. And then I got suspended, unfortunately, back in 2013. Sometimes you get injured. Actually, I haven't really been injured, knock on wood. But yeah, oh shit, that's my dog.
All right, no worries.
So Rocco, hey, no, stop. So I mean, I have been in the sport since 2000 and I think 12.
Okay. And it really does seem a lot longer. And it's weird how a lot of the women in the sport, and I think you and I have talked about this before, how much I don't like women's MMA because the way it's portrayed, it's still in that I call it the fetish era, where people are watching it because they're hoping to see 2 girls fight, not because they want to see 2 athletes fight. And so that's why I've always been like, I don't really like women's MMA because it's not considered a sport yet. Most people that watch are watching it for how attractive is the female, how many times they see her on Facebook posts, like how much time is she promoting herself, and that's really not like what real athletes do. Athletes go out there and entertain. Yes, it's entertainment. We entertain, but you go out there to win and get victories, and you train to do that kind of thing. So that's why I've always kind of been against women's MMA. But with that being said, you seem to do a really good job of staying in front of everybody when you don't have a fight lined up, when you do have a loss, when most people we've all seen everyone get their backs turned on them when they lose. You've kind of always maintained a way of being able to stay in front of everybody, even though sometimes the fight game doesn't go the way that you want it to. So let's go back to 2013 when you got suspended. How hard was it then to keep yourself in the limelight and wiping away all the negative that would come back at you?
Well, I think that was the one time that I wasn't good at making the best of my situation, and I learned from that situation. I got really depressed. I didn't train as much as I should have, and I definitely lost myself a little bit. It was the first time where I couldn't compete for longer than a month or so, and it was like a year that I didn't compete. And I realized then I learned a lesson about, no matter what happens in your sport, a suspension, a loss, whatever happens, to stay in the sport. I could have done seminars. I could have, did appearances. I could have, helped out. I could have went to fights still, but I didn't. I kind of pulled myself away from the sport. And now, no matter what happens, I'm always going to be involved. I'm always going to be interactive with my fans. I'm always going to be at fights and talking to people, supporting my teammates and that kind of stuff. And yeah, I think I do a decent job of putting myself out there all the time. But yeah, I just realized that the sport is everything to me. It's not just the competition, but I love, the camaraderie, and I love, I know how hard women work. It's not just, how many likes and all that. I know we're athletes and we're equal. And I think I like to kind of put that out there, how hard I work, how I stay kind of in shape year round, and I think that people enjoy that. People like to see, the athlete side. They like to see what we do on the sidelines, the personal life, and I kind of just put it all out there, and I think people appreciate that.
There's a few guys that do the exact same thing that you do, and they are well liked, and it's not win-loss record. It's just that people have an insight into what they're doing with their lives. Like, I follow everything that you do. So I follow your Instagram, your Twitter, your Facebook. Like, I'm on all the stuff that you do. So I'm looking at, sometimes a day it gets kind of annoying. There's because I'm looking at all 3 things and I'm seeing 15 feeds on all 3 things. You're like, well, I'm kind of getting overwhelmed. But then a week later, if you only post two things, I'm kind of like, oh, I wonder if Ashley's okay. Maybe I should reach out and see if she's okay, because you only posted two things. They're like, what's going on with her? And that's kind of the thing. And there's like I said, there's a few guys that do that, and they do it very, very well. You all said you learned from your suspension that's how I had to learn. Like I really got to stay embraced. I really do love this sport. It is a lot more to me than just a sport. It is my entire life. How do you explain that to somebody new? I don't care, guy or girl, but there's somebody new. They're in the amateur ranks. They're 9-1. They're getting ready to make a jump into pro. And what are you going to tell them? Like, hey, look, this is what you have to do with your social networking. This is what you have to do as a fighter outside of the training room.
Yeah, and you're not the only person to kind of commend me and praise me on my social media presence lately. And at the end of the day, like, it is winning fights. You got to win fights no matter what. But like, we went to the athlete retreat a couple weekends ago, and everyone who spoke, Kobe and Michael Strahan and all these amazing people, they would talk about branding and social media, but the first things first, you got to freaking win, and that. But if you also are interested in, I'd say, life after fighting, which everyone is, I believe, and being successful, you have to build yourself as a brand or whatever, right? So I think it's just important. I would give that amateur fighter, I would tell them, just be open, just try and act like social media is your best friend. And what do you do with your best friend? You tell your best friend everything, Sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's kind of sad, sometimes you're excited, sometimes you usually talk a lot to your best friend. Sometimes you don't, talk for a little while. And like you said, you're like, where's your best friend? But then you get back on and you catch up, you stay up to date, So I know it sounds weird, but I would say treat social media like your best friend, and be nice to your fans, because they are the reason you're there. They buy tickets, they buy your t-shirt, they support you. And at the end of the day, like, I mean, obviously I like getting paid, but when fans talk to me and tell me that I inspire them, or I made them think about like a different diet or being healthier or whatever, like, I freaking love that shit. Like, I love it so much. It makes me feel like a good person. It makes me feel like what I'm doing as a career actually has an effect on people. I'm not just like a monkey in a cage, like with gloves on, And yeah, if that answers your question.
There's obviously parts of your life you have to keep private, just because you can't have everybody in everything. Like, I do not post anything about my kids. Like, there's no.
Yeah.
I have 4 kids. I don't post anything about them. Actually, the only thing I post is my granddaughter, and that's because my eldest, who's 24, is like, Dad, post photos of Ella. I'm like, okay, well, I'll post them because I got permission from the father, but I don't post anything about my kids. So that portion of my life is super private. And then when I go out, a lot of the times I stop posting stuff. Like, I'm be out at a club, or I'm out at a bar, or I'm out at a strip club, or I'm whatever I'm doing. Like, I'm not posting anything at all. One, because the people I'm with may not want their significant others to know that they're with me. Right? They're like, oh, I might be the bad friend that no one wants to be around. But also, too, they may not want people to know that they're out doing things, because I have a bigger reach, obviously, than they do. Do you ever find that in your sometimes in your time when you're trying to be private, like, you're like, this is just me and my core group, but someone in the core group is like, oh, let's take a selfie, let's post this to Instagram, and you're like, I'm just trying to be here by myself or by just us and not be bombarded with everything. Can we just leave it alone? Do you ever get in that situation?
It's funny. So I'm thinking about it now, and I'm like, I want to say no, but then I'm like, wait, does that mean I'm the person that's always like, let's take a selfie?
You could be. It's possible.
But I like you said, like, there's certain things that I try not to post about too much, because we're human, and we do drink, and when we're not in fight camp, we party and stuff like that. And fighters, I like to say we fighters really know how to celebrate. To put it mildly, we celebrate really well.
The mentality of a fighter is extreme. The sport is an extreme sport. It is not built for everybody. You're not going to grow up in your high school doing MMA. You have to seek it out. You have to search it out. So when you you celebrate extremely as well, and that's just the mentality. It's a very left and right section of there is no middle, and that's why you're successful.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but I feel a lot more comfortable promoting the healthy side of my life, as opposed to like post-fight, celebrations. But I mean, I can't lie. There are a couple times where, my friend like Carla texts me in the morning. She's like, "Did you mean to post that?" And I like wake up and I'm like, delete, delete, delete. You know?
Okay. So, and that's one of the other things I was going to ask you, because I have seen a couple of posts where I've looked and be like, I thought that well, where's that post? I swear to God, I saw it. And I was like, I don't want to reach out and go, did you delete that post? Because I thought maybe, okay, well, there's something, because, you know, it's not just you. Sometimes there's other stuff going on in the background. And I was like, oh, maybe something in the background wasn't supposed to be seen. And that's why I should take it down. I don't want to call him. I don't want to text you, make fun of you. You're like, oh, look, you deleting your post. You know, what are you, John Jones now, deleting your post? It doesn't make any sense, you know. But I do like the fact that you are like, hey, I woke up and I was like, whoa, I had drink regret, and I got to take that thing down, you know.
Yeah.
The pseudo walk of shame from social networking, you know. And I've done it too.
Yeah.
I put stuff out and be like, whoa, like,
because you know it's not that like whatever I do in my life, like let's say I posted a video drinking or at a club or whatever, like it's not that I'm embarrassed of it, because I don't regret anything I've ever done, and you know that's saying a lot. But I think I'm reminded that there's little girls on my Instagram sometimes. There's little people, you know, young people and stuff like that, and I'm like, you know, shit, like, you know, I'm a grown ass woman, but there are younger people out there trying to look up to me. And if I'm saying like, oh, train your butt off and work hard, and then at nighttime comes around and I got, you know, a Corona in my hand, I'm like, shit, you know. But you know, we're adults, you know, and we do that sometimes. So as long as I'm not like making a thing, you know, all the time, I don't see a problem with drinking here and there occasionally. But you know, sometimes you get, like you said, you're at the strip club or somewhere crazy, and you know,
Or for you too, especially if you're not in training camp, or you're not in a hard part of your training camp, and one of your teammates has a huge win that either is unexpected or was a super tough training camp for them to get through. You want to be part of that celebration. You don't want to be left out because, oh, I don't want to, you know, I'm kind of in training camp, but I'm not. You're going to have a couple Coronas to celebrate that person's victory, or drink their sorrows away too. It's like it's part of the job of being a part of a team in a team. And you guys
honestly,
see.
I was just gonna say I agree, you know, and I think anyone who doesn't understand that, you most likely haven't been there. But it's just like, you know, you train your butt off, and you know, then you go fight and you celebrate and or drink your sorrows away a little bit. And not everybody, you know, not everybody's a drinker or whatever. You know, I'm from 10th Planet, so you know, it's probably like a smoking situation, if you know, that kind of situation. But you know, it's just a part of the process, you know, and there's camaraderie in it, win or lose.
So I see you, like I'm reffing tomorrow night, right? It's Friday. Yeah, ref tomorrow night in Burbank. I'll probably see you in Burbank tomorrow night, because I think you have one of your teammates is on the card. I saw you a couple weeks ago. Also, I just haven't beat the same place, but different organization.
Yeah.
For was it LFA, and you were there because one of your teammates is on the card. You really do come around. It's not like it's an easy drive to get up to Burbank for you. It's a bit of a trek, and you really do support your teammates. Do they support you just as much? I know they can't always, you know, they're not gonna be able to get to Canada for your next fight, most of them, but you know, if it's close enough, they try to support you as much as well.
Well, I mean, have you ever been to Saboba out here?
Yeah, Saboba Casino. King of the Cage used to run all their fights out there back in the day. It is a hike to get out there.
Yeah. So, after I saw you, I went the next weekend to an amateur fighters fight at Saboba, and I want, if you understand that, but like, you know, explaining it to someone, you know, if I tell you that, you understand how much I cared about that teammate, you know. And it was her first amateur fight, but I am really, like I said, the camaraderie, you know, the family environment, and plus, like, I plan to stay in this sport for a very long time. I got goals, I got plans. I'm making moves that are behind the scenes that will probably only come out once I'm done with my fighting career. But you know, just, you know, like, we can't fight forever, you know, as you know, and you know, you're doing other stuff, I'm gonna do other stuff, and part of the reason that I go to all these fights is because I've got other things that I'm lining up to do in the MMA world as well. But I just generally love my team. You know, you can't train, you can't win a fight with a fight camp of one. You know, basically you win your fight because your team, like, and I'm the sum of my team, I'm the sum of my coaches and all my hard work put together. So without them, I'm nothing. And I just, you know, I support them by going to their fights and doing anything I can, because they support me by either letting them beat me up, or them letting me beat them up, or you know, them beating me up. And it's a rough relationship, but it works out.
Yeah, it's funny how we kind of go through it. Hey, can you do me a favor? Can you be at practice tomorrow at 3:30 and make sure you come in and punch me in the head with as many right hooks as you possibly can? Oh,
Yeah.
sure, I'll be there for you. Yeah, no problem. I'm in. Okay, great, thanks. Like, what the hell are we thinking? It is a weird relationship that you have with your teammates. Um, so when you went out to Sabobo, you weren't cornering. You were just going as a fan, right? Just as support. So
Yes.
for the folks at home, when you're cornering somebody, it's a lot different because you're in the back, you're hanging out, you get warming them up, you're going through. When you're just there as a fan, most of you understand what it's like to be a fan. So she's driving sometimes 100 miles one way just to go watch an amateur fight for one of her teammates. So that's a big deal. That's a really big deal. And there's very few camps that kind of have that, to my knowledge, that kind of have that camaraderie. How did it all come about down there for you guys?
Um, I mean, I can't say that I've been at this particular camp for a long time because I haven't. I actually switched camps my last fight. That was my first fight with my new home gym. But like I said before, it's more of a personal thing for me. I did it for my last camp. My last team was Subfighter MMA in
Yeah.
Laguna Hills, and I still love every single one of those guys. And I still like a lot of them have fights coming up, and I'm going to be going to their fights. So not only will I be going to
Okay.
fights of my current team, I'll be going to fights of my former teammates. If my old coach or anyone ever needed anything, hey, I'm moving. I need you to help me move boxes. They could call me. I think it's more of a personal thing. I feel like I just love my team. They're like family to me. So it's just a personal thing. Maybe it came from wrestling. Like I think wrestlers have a very strong sense of brotherhood or
Mhm.
sisterhood. Yeah.
Yeah, we do. I still find myself. I pay my membership over at Flow. And I pay for Flow Combat, but I pay for Flow Grappling specifically so I can so I can watch all the wrestling and all the everything they put out there for me because I really do want to see all the Flow wrestling. I do want to see grappling. I do want to, and I can't get there. Living in Hawaii, I can't just hey, well, next week let's go to let's go to Long Beach and go and
Yeah.
just be as a fan, just go watch this thing. You're like, well, I can't really pull that off, man, because I
Yeah.
was on the road the last 3 weekends in a row reffing, and so now I can't take another trip back. It's just too much. So
Yeah. But you get it. Like if
yeah.
you were, we know that if you were here or local, you would
Mhm.
go there. And I can't make it to every fight because I've got my own career that I gotta worry about, I guess. But yeah, if I can make it, I'm gonna go.
Okay, last time before I let you out of here, I saw some photos you posted up. I don't know, maybe a month or so ago. There was not a piercing. There was not a tattoo. There was not a. I was like, I really had to look at it. I was like, I mean, is she playing a game here? Is that same person? Like, it's been a while. How long has it been though to getting like starting your tattoos? Like for me, it's been a 25-year process. But for I mean, you're only 29, so it's not like you've been doing it for that long. When do you recall? When did you get your first tattoo?
It's a funny story. I got my first tattoo when I was 15, and it was in the back of like it was like my friend's friend had a family had a clothing store. I was 15. I think the guy that did the tattoo was probably 16, and it was made out of a guitar string. So I kind
You
of did
got a
start young.
you got a prison style
Prison
tattoo
tattoo.
done as your
Yeah.
first one. Oh
Yeah.
my god, that's awesome! Oh, that's great! Oh, I have so much more
Yeah.
respect for you because for you to trust that 16-year-old to go and stick that guitar string in the middle of your wherever it went, like I'm like, man, that no, like I'm not that
You know,
guy. You're not doing it to me.
I'll never forget the guy's name too. Was this big, very quiet Mexican kid at the time, yeah. But his name was Downer. And I'm just like it was like out of a movie. We like went back there, and my best friend at the time, her name's also Ashley. She got a butterfly on her shoulder to hide it from her mom. I got stars on my hip bones, so that because if you wear a bathing suit, even it's like covered up.
Yeah,
And I remember being like, okay, you go first and tell me what's like.
that's great. So, are
Yeah, it's
you?
great.
I mean, obviously, you're very much into the internal, especially by your sponsors and being a vegan, and that's kind of the way you're going. Um, I know you can't give too much because you got to wait till you retire from MMA if we can give all of it of what you got going on in the background. But is a lot of it going to be towards that fan base, that alternative lifestyle fan base that kind of follows you already?
I am going to use pretty much all the resources I've gained in my, what was it, 5 going on 6 years of MMA. The sponsors, the fans, promoters, fellow fighters. I'm going to use it all. And, not that it's hard to, but I don't burn bridges for a reason because who knows what you can do for me and I can do for you later down the line. But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I can't talk too much
Yeah.
about it. But right now, I'm worried about. I'm focused on my career. But as I'm focused on my career, I'm also gaining momentum for life after fighting too.
Well, that's awesome. Ashlee, thanks so much for coming on, man. I appreciate it. We're going to talk again in another month or so as you get deeper into your training camp. I'm sure right now, I'm obviously on all your posts, just ramping up in the very beginning stages of it. But we'll talk more as we get closer to it. And then again, one more time right before the fight goes off. So I want to be interested in weight, strength, diet, like how you're staying on your diet. Because I know I tried, man, being a vegan for like 12 minutes. Dude, I don't know how these people do it. Like, I don't get it. And this is when, like, Melendez and Jake Shields and the Diaz brothers were like, oh, yeah, this is the way to do it. And I was training with Mac Danzig at the time. I was like, I don't understand, man. I can't figure out how you guys do this. Like, there's not enough time for me to eat that much food to maintain me not being hungry. But you guys are doing it, and it's working. Like, it's one of those things, one of the anomalies in MMA that I just do not understand and why it works so well for those that do it and can find a way around it.
Honestly, we could probably do a whole entire podcast or interview just on that topic alone. I post about it a lot. I try not to be the weird, preachy vegan, but there is a movie coming out with James Lightning Wilkes, who won the Ultimate Fighter. It's basically about how all these high-level successful athletes have been vegan and how it's helped them. And, there's a lot to it, but actually there's not a lot to it. It's simple. But yeah, it works for me. I get a lot of questions. I enjoy answering questions. Like, my fans always reach out to me. They ask me how I get protein, what meals do I recommend, where do I go, and in some states or countries it's easier. Obviously, I'm in Orange County, and there's a plethora of vegan options here because we're peace, love, and whatever. But if I fought in Kansas City, and that was rough. We found one of the only 2 vegan restaurants in the entire state. So
And then, right here on Oahu, where I am right now, there's I was like, it'd be impossible to be a vegetarian or vegan on this island. There's just no way you could do it. And there's like 6 vegetarian or vegan restaurants right by my place, like within walking distance. I'm like, oh yeah, well, I guess I'm an idiot. So it actually is a lot easier than people think it is to be able to go out and enjoy yourself, but also to be able to find the right stuff. It's not that hard, especially now with Amazon buying Whole Foods. That's going to change the whole game for everybody. Yeah, that came out today. Amazon bought Whole Foods, and that popped this morning. So yeah, so now it's now all of a sudden they're going to rival. Like, they're going to be able to rival Trader Joe's and be able to rival Walmart because they have that kind of money now to make it a bigger, better product, which is going to change. A lot of people now that you're preaching to right now are kind of resistant. Will all of a sudden be like, oh, I just go to Whole Foods. It's going to be easier for me to get to Whole Foods, and it's going to be cheaper than it is like right now for you guys because that's the way the economy works.
Is it really going to make Whole Foods cheaper?
Yeah, that's the plan. Amazon's plan is to revitalize it because they're a bigger corporate structure. They have better shipping policies. They're more like a Walmart. Amazon is more like Walmart in that sense. When you keep prices really low, they're going to be able to bring the prices down. Now, it's not going to happen next week. It's not going to happen next month. It's going to be a process. But yeah, it's supposed to make Whole Foods cheaper, which everybody knows. Everyone goes to Trader Joe's because Trader Joe's is relatively priced for the products that you are getting. Where Whole Foods is like, are you kidding me? Like, really? Like, but here, that's all we have. We don't have Trader Joe's. All we have is Whole Foods. So I'm just stuck. That's all I got.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's amazing. I'm crossing my fingers. I'm a vegan and I'm healthy and I love, Whole Foods a lot. As long as I feel like that's great, as long as they don't somewhere along the line sacrifice the quality or the selection or anything. As long as it stays true to what it is now and the price goes down, sweet, more power to you.
That's the thing that they're saying is that they can't change the products because everyone will leave. If you change the products, I'm just going to a regular grocery store. So why am I coming to Whole Foods and I just go to a regular grocery store, which is 1/3 the cost? I'm not going to come to you anymore. So they have to keep it the same and just find a better way to ship and a better way to work on a better price point, work on negotiating the back end to pay the farmer or pay the distributor less money for that same product because they're going to buy much more bulk. And that's the game I think what they're trying to do.
That is fabulous news. Thank you, sir. I didn't know that.
I'm glad I gave you say. All right. Ashlee, hope I see you tomorrow night at CXF up in Burbank. I'll definitely say hi. We'll sit down and chat some more off camera, of course. I got some questions I want to ask you, but I don't want the rest of the people to know about. So
Top secret stuff.
Yeah, we got. There's still ninja stuff. We still got ninja stuff. There's always ninja stuff happening. We're gonna work on it. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for coming on here. I really appreciate it, and we'll talk later.
Okay, bye.
Bye.